Hello everyone, my name is Jane and welcome to the Pokemon book tag. So the PokemonAthon has started and I think that the Pokemon book tag is the perfect way to celebrate the start of November of the PokemonAthon. Now in case you don't know what is the PokemonAthon, this is basically a Pokemon themed readathon that I created and I will link all the details and the announcement video in the video description. So if you want to join last minute, you still can. But basically I saw that Jess from What Jess Reading did this tag and I just thought to myself that it will be the perfect video to do in November in the PokemonAthon. And basically there is just a lot of questions that are based on Pokemons, but book related questions. So that's going to be really cool. This is actually going to be me blindly reacting to this because I did saw one or two questions, but I don't know most of the questions, so it's going to be interesting. Like usually I'm preparing more than this, but yes, I'm excited to see what questions are going to be, so let's just start. So the first question is Starters, the book that started your love for reading. It's the easiest question for me because the answer to this is always The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. I was really a big fan of The Hunger Games. When it was only released, it was like really small and I was obsessed with this trilogy. I loved it so much. I just loved the story and the characters. It's definitely the thing that affected the most my reading and how much I love reading, because this was the first time that I actually felt that I'm in another world. It was just an amazing experience. Always The Hunger Games will have a big place in my heart. I just love this trilogy so much. And yes, obviously The Hunger Games. The next question is Pikachu, an iconic classic that you will always love. I love Pikachu so much. It's one of my most favorite Pokemons, which is pretty generic, but I really love Pikachu. And I have to pick the same book again. I'm sorry, I just can't actually answer it in any other way. So for me, it's again The Hunger Games. I love The Hunger Games. So yes, I'm sorry. The next question is Zubat, a book you lost interest in because it's literally everywhere. It's pretty funny because like Zubat is the Pokemon that you see everywhere. I love the question, but I actually feel that if I see a book a lot, it just makes me want to read it more because it's more hyped up, but also scared to read it more because it's so hyped up. But I would probably say Shadow and Bone. I actually tried to read it and I DNF'd it after 100 pages, something like this. And I was planning to read it again, like to read the whole trilogy, especially because I really want to give Six of Crows a chance. I already talked about it on my channel in the past, but I just feel like I keep saying it everywhere and it just makes me not really want to read this trilogy anymore. I will probably just read Six of Crows without Shadow and Bone. So yes, Shadow and Bone. The next question is Ditto, a book that reminds you of other books or tropes that you still love anyway. So I have actually a good answer to this question, and this is Made in Korea by Sarah Sook. Now this is a new release. It's my most favorite YA high school romance that I read this year, and basically the idea of the story is pretty generic. We have two teenagers that are running a K-beauty business at their school and they are enemies. Their businesses are against each other, so this is basically enemies to lovers of two teenagers that are trying to win the other. And I feel like overall the whole tropes and the whole idea of the story and just the whole plot was pretty generic, like just two teenagers that are against each other and they hate each other. But although this book was generic, it was so amazing. I'm not sure if this was the theme of the K-beauty and the Korea or if it was just the characters, but I feel like this book was so well made, and although the idea is really generic, the author made the story really come into life. I was so surprised from it. Like I did thought that I'm going to love it, but just not this much. Like yes, it's pretty generic, but I really love the execution of it, and I feel like I can see books that are like this everywhere, but all of those other books won't make me feel the same way that this book made me feel. So yes, I really love this book. Definitely recommend it. The next question is Snorlax, book or a series you have not started because of its sheer size. And like the first thing that I'm thinking of is Mistborn. Like I really want to read the series. It sounds like a really cool fantasy adult series and I just hear amazing reviews about it. The books are so long, and the thing is that this is by Brandon Sanderson and he have so many books in the same world, and it doesn't mean that if I'm reading Mistborn I need to read all the other books that Brandon Sanderson wrote. But I do feel like if I would love Mistborn, I would likely read the other books in his other series. So I just feel like this is a whole world that I need to explore. So like also the Mistborn trilogy is really long, but also his other books. So yes, like definitely Mistborn. The next question is Gengar, a book that kept you up at night. So from what I get from the question, a book that was scary, that kept you up at night because it was scary. My answer is Venus in the Blind Spot by Junji Ito. This is a horror manga. Junji Ito in general individual is a really well-known manga author, and I read 2 books by him, and his style is really gore and really creepy. But I feel like more than the gore and the creepiness, just the plot of his books are really scary. And there were some stories in here that were so scary. Like there is one story that is called The Enigma of Amigara Fall. This is a short story collection, by the way, but this story was the most creepy. I just kept thinking about it so much after I read it. And yes, because this is a short story collection, not all of the stories were really creepy to me, but it was my first time ever reading Junji Ito. It made me just be in a really big shock of how can a human think on those stuff. But it was a really cool experience. Like I really loved it and really enjoyed it. So yes, Venus in the Blind Spot definitely kept me up at night. So the next question, Nidoking Queen, and this is your bookish OTP. And I know, of course, it's going to be Cinder and Kai from Cinder. I really love them. It's definitely one of my most favorite couples that I ever read about. Basically, this is a first book in the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. Every book is a different retelling, and in every book we are following a different character. And Cinder, it's basically Cinderella, like you can maybe guess from the name. I love this series so much. It's definitely one of my most favorite series that I read since I got back into reading. And Cinder is my most favorite book in the series, and the main reason is because the characters, I felt the most connected to Cinder and Kai. I have here also Stars Above, which is a short story collections about stories from the Lunar Chronicles, but you have Cinder and Kai on the cover, and they are just so cute. I just love their chemistry so much and everything. I'm so happy to see them together, and just I love them so much. And yes, definitely my OTP. And the next question is Rapidash, Fire Hot Fast Paced Read. Definitely no exit by Taylor Adams. It's one of my most favorite books that I read in 2021. This book is basically a thriller, and we're following a woman that gets stuck in a storm in the winter. There is snow, she can't go anywhere, and she gets stuck in the middle of the road in some kind of a resting place. But in this resting place, she finds out that one of the people that got stuck with her kidnapped a child. So it was just really thrilling, and this is the most fast-paced book that I ever read. I just couldn't put it down. I read it in something like 3-4 hours, so quick, so fast. It just makes you really feel the thrill of the story, and yes, it was just really good. I loved it so much. Again, one of my most favorite books that I read this year, and definitely really fast-paced. The next question is Evie, series you will never get tired of seeing spin-offs of, which is cool because Evie has a lot of evolutions. But The Hunger Games, again, I'm sorry, it was my most favorite series ever, and I'm not the kind of person who read fanfics, but I read so many Hunger Games fanfics in my life as I just kept all the time wanting to go back to this world. So I also loved reading the prequel of The Hunger Games. Like, I don't think the book was really good, but I really enjoyed coming back into this world. So yes, I just love The Hunger Games. The next question is Magikarp, a book or a series that was surprisingly awesome. So I would say The Cruel Prince. Overall, the Folk of the Air trilogy. This is a really hyped up book, especially on BookTok, and I feel like, especially on BookTok, a lot of hyped up books aren't really good, but because it's so hyped up, I did try not to go to it with high expectations, and it isn't one of my most favorite book series that I read. I gave the first book 3.5 stars, the second one I didn't love at all, the last one was really good, I gave it 4 stars, but overall the series was really enjoyable. It was surprisingly awesome. Like, I do think it's a really good series, and I was just really surprised that I actually felt this way from the series. It was just really fun to read it, and yes, it was surprisingly awesome. The next question is Legendary, an Overhyped series you are still excited to read. Definitely The Popular by R.F. Kong. This is a very hyped up adult fantasy series, but I'm just so excited to read it. It's the favorite series of Charlotte from Clumsy Charlotte, which is my booktube bestie. She loved the series so much, and her reading taste is pretty similar, and except this series actually sounds like something that I would really enjoy. It's also Asian inspired, and I really love Asia in general, and you just feel like the whole book and the vibe of the book will be really something that I would really love. And this is really hyped up, but I see only good reviews about it, so I feel like it will be so amazing, and definitely I'm crazy excited to read it. The next question is Mew and Mewtwo, a collector's edition you wish you owned. That's a good question because I'm not sure. There is so many collector editions that I see of books, like Illumicrate, Fairy Loot, all the bookish boxes. I see so many, and they always look so much amazing, and I'm not sure which one I would love the most. Let me look. Okay, so I tried to search, and I'm actually not sure. All the editions are so pretty, but there isn't something I know that I want to get the most. If someone asked me the this question a month or two ago, I would have an answer. This answer will be 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Like you can maybe guess, I already have the limited edition because I got it from someone on eBay because I wanted it so much. It's definitely the most beautiful edition that I ever saw in my life. Also, the edges are so pretty. Also, without the dust jacket, it's so pretty. And also, the inside of the dust jacket is amazing. It's so beautiful. So yes, because I wanted it so much, I already got it. So like, this is my answer if I actually got it. So yes, accept it. I don't have an edition that I really want, at least not right now. The next question is, okay, the debut novel you are very excited for. So the first thing that comes into my mind is The Wolf and the Woodsman by Overhyped. I'm reading it this month in November for the Enchanted Book Club, which is the book club me and my booktube friends just opened, and this is our second month. And like, I wasn't excited about this book at start. Like, he just won in the poll. I was okay with it, but I wasn't really excited about it. And then I ordered it, and since I got the physical copy, I keep looking at it. I don't know, also the copy makes me really want to read it because it's really fluffy. But except it, I read the synopsis again, and I just got so much more excited about reading it, and I really want to get to it. So yes, I'm really excited to read it, and this is a debut, and I really hope to love it. The next question is lore model and auto-buy offer. I don't have a lot of auto-buy offers. Like, for me, auto-buy is actually auto-buy offer that I would buy everything from. But I would say Shea Ernstno, she wrote The Wicked Deep. This is the only book by her that I read. But this book made me feel so much, and her writing touched me so much, like just in another level, that I feel like I would check all of her books just for the chance to feel this way again, because it was just so amazing. Now, except The Wicked Deep, she has another book, Winterwood, that I already own, and I'm really excited to get to it. And she's going to release another fantasy. This is going to be her first adult fantasy, because her 2 first books are young adult fantasy. I just love her writing so much. Definitely an auto-buy offer for me, and I would keep buying her books because she just made me feel so much. And yes, I feel like she really deserves it. And Servers Down is the last question, and this is a book release you have been waiting for forever. So I don't feel like I have a book that I was waiting for actually forever. I feel like I'm waiting for new releases few months before. Like, there isn't a book that I waited for more than a few months. So for right now, I do have books that I wait for, like for 2022, but I'm talking about 2021 releases. I didn't have a book that I was waiting for months. The book that I feel like I waited the most for in the last couple of months is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. And like you can see, I got it only today, like 2 hours ago. That's a really good question, like a really good timing, because I just got it. The cover is just so gorgeous. This is a fantasy, and I just was really waiting for it because the vibe of the story sounds really interesting to me. Something that I would really love. So yes, and yes, this was the Pokemon book tag. I'm going to tag a few people to do this tag too. I'm going to tag Ashley from Fiction and Fantasy, Max from Max Reads, and Kevin from Much You Adore About Kevin. All of them are team leaders in the PokemonAthon, and I know that they really love Pokemon, so I'm just tagging you to do this tag too, and I hope that you will enjoy it. Yes, it was really fun, and I feel like really fitting for the PokemonAthon mood. And yes, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Until my next video, you can check more videos by me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!